Good morning, this is Brandon. I'm making this video hoping that we can do our ATB, our almost tender buttons. So, yeah, I don't know. Maeve said we don't need to maybe do a studio session. So let me just tell you what's up. Two parts. The second half is pentamode. The first part, the first half is like a reconnaissance score that allows us to sort of entrain with the space and understand how the space works while we very gently inhabit it. So the reconnaissance score is so simple. It's called the simple score. So it's 5 minutes observation, 5 minutes perpetual walking, 5 minutes walking and standing, 5 minutes walking and then sitting, and then 5 minutes of generating activity. Now, generating activity is in my system, has a specific definition, and you're basically using whatever idea or set of ideas to generate activity that you like. Holding shape is generating activity. Dancing, it's basically dancing. And how you're dancing is kind of your own business. But it's as a soloist. Generating activity in pentamode is the symbol tilde, active, solo, active, solo. So in that last part of the reconnaissance score, you're just kind of testing out, dialing your visibility. And then after that reconnaissance score, we have a 25-minute pentamode. And the pentamode is a dance, a quartet or a trio or a duet, in our case a quartet, that we do about the archetypes of relationship. And those are active, passive, enhance, provoke, and inhibit. And those all have their own signs in the pentamodal system. Active is generating activity as a soloist. Passive is not generating activity, so that is being empty or observing. And that is, you're available for action, but you're not generating activity. Then enhance is dancing with. So any of the ways that you dance with, literally, if you are dancing with someone in your head, you're dancing with them. It's subtly different from generating activity alone as a soloist. And then provoke and inhibit, they necessarily involve physical manipulation. So provoke is adding movement to your partner's system. Inhibiting is preventing them from doing whatever it is you think they're trying to do. So provoking is generating activity. You're having a solo in order to find opportunities to provoke your partner. And then inhibiting as follows. You are generating activity, having a solo, in order to find opportunities to inhibit your partner. And your partner in a quartet or a trio is whoever you think it is. So provoking and inhibiting can be subtle or gross, meaning like they can be just the gentlest kind of provocation, the gentlest kind of inhibition. Or they can be quite physical, gross, like quite severe, like wrestling or shoving. It really, we're having a compositional dance, so a consideration and care for your partner is always of the highest importance. But to point out the subtle and gross spectrum, I think is really important. And then there's also the spectrum of successful and unsuccessful. In other words, your intention is what matters. If you mean to provoke, then you are provoking. Whether it plays out the way you think it should or doesn't matter. if it's successful or unsuccessful, you're still generating activity in the mode of provoking, and that's the important thing in pentamode. We are not doing pentamode to play by the rules. We're doing pentamode to have an amazing spontaneous dance of relationship, of partnering. So that's the gist of it. So 25 minutes, simple score, the reconnaissance score, and then 25 minutes open pentamode. Now, the trick in ATB, Almost Tender Buttons, is dialing our visibility to coexist in the space. We don't want to reappropriate the space and turn it into a stage where a performance is happening. We're trying to allow all of the activity that we find to come from the space as we understand it. ATB is meant to be an epistemology of place. So we're using our bodies and our compositional activity to understand the place. And it's psychogeography, the way that the architecture of the space and its design condition us as human beings. And if we are using the space in this playful way, we're kind of able to see how normal everyday living is such a small splinter of what's possible in public spaces. It's important that we find spaces that are liminal spaces, so that the activity that happens in that space, there's some ambiguity between neighborhoods, basically. A zone, a very clear zone, and a very clear zone. The liminal space is the zone between those very clear zones. So there's some ambiguity in a liminal space. It's a space people often pass through. Passers-by are available to us as audience, possibly participants. Okay? So this is ATB in a nutshell. Under 8 minutes, not bad. We read Gertrude Stein's stanzas, 2 objects from her beautiful book, Tender Buttons, and that's why it's Almost Tender Buttons. Each of us chooses an object, and we consider the object very carefully. We examine the stanza. We read the stanza 2 or 3 times together so that we have some understanding of the subversion of language. Gertrude Stein's book, Tender Buttons, subverts language. That's why it's so magical. Okay, I hope we can do this soon.